Okay. So what is that we have discussed in the last session? Stored procedure is something which we have discussed. So today we are going to be discussing one of the concept, which is the last concept in jdbc, of course, okay, which is blob and clob. What exactly is blob and clob? If you ask me, it is one of the data types available inside your SQL itself. Have you guys heard about this blob and clob data type? Yes. Do you know how to create and how to access it? No. Okay, fine. So today what we are going to be doing is we will be making like discussing about this blob. What exactly is this blob? If you ask me, blob is nothing but binary large object which you will be calling it as. What is this? Binary large object. So there are two data types available inside this. One is the blob, one more is long blob is available. So two data type, one name is blob and long. What is the use of this blob? What kind of data you can store inside your blob, if you ask me? If in case it's a integer data type, what kind of data you can store? Integer values. If it is a real number type, means a decimal values you can store over there, all these kinds of data. Now when it comes to blob, you can store images kinds of data over there. Images or a PDF, any of the files you can store it inside your blob kind of data. I hope it is clear for everyone. So whenever you come across with a situation where you want to store a blob kind of data, means where you want to store images or any PDFs, then you can make use of a blob data type. I hope it is clear for everybody when you have to make use of this. Okay. Now let's create one more column inside your database and try creating the data type as blob and try inserting values inside this particular table or values inside that particular row. I hope it is clear. Now already we were working with one particular database, which is that employee table which you are working with, correct? Employee table consists of ID, name, email, department, salary. Now these are 5 columns which is, for that I want to add one more column named as DP. I want to add one more column named as DP. How can I add one more column for the existing table? Using which particular command you will be doing this? Using alter command. What is the query for it? Alter table. Okay. What about others? Forgot about all those SQL queries itself, I guess. Okay. Using alter command itself, you will be able to add a new column for your existing table itself. Let's go and create one more column name as DP, so that along with that employees details, we will be adding one particular pick of that particular employee. That is what is nothing but one column which holds over here. Okay. So let me just take you back to the database. Okay. So I'll just open this and okay, we were working with jdbc and there is a employee table is available and this is an employee table. Now I want to alter. I'll not be writing up the query. I'll make anyways MySQL workbench to write a query. What is that you will be doing? I'll click on this employee table and I'll right click and you will get an option of alter table. I'll just go. This is also one more way where you can make MySQL to write a query. Now I want to add one more column. You can clearly see the column section has come. Over here I'll go and add the column. So in the using alter, you know already you can change the data type of the column, constraints of the column, all those things you can do it by over here itself and then click on apply. Okay. Now my expectation is to add one more column which I'll name it as DP. Okay. So I'll change the data type and the data type which I'm going to be changing over here is to blob. You can clearly see. I'll click on this, apply and finish. And if I wait to execute, you can clearly see there is a DP column which exists over here. Now you can define this DP as a blob or long blob. What is the difference between both if you ask me? Difference is in the size that it will hold. Long blob, if in case you are storing a large size images, then it's better you go with the long blob. Blob will store small set of images, small size of images, you can store it inside your blob data type. I hope it is clear for everybody how to define a blob data type inside your database or inside your SQL. Any doubts in this particular? Using alter we have. Now the next thing is using your JDBC. Now let's try to insert a value inside this particular row. Whoever have ID equal to 2, for them I want to add a value for this particular DP. I hope expectation is clear for everybody. Now I want to insert a value over here, whoever ID equal to 2 or 3 which has been entered by the user. This is my expectation now. If you want to update or if you want to insert a record inside this any particular specific ID, what is the query that you will be writing? Over here, whoever ID is 3, for them I want to give a value for this particular DP column. What is that I need to be doing? What is the query I need to be writing? Update employee set DP equal to question mark, because every time the data what we are taking it from a user itself. So what is the query that we will be writing is update employee, then set what? DP equal to question mark, then where ID equal to question mark. So this is the query if you want to insert an image inside your database where DP equal to ID equal to given by the user. Now it is a complete query or incomplete query? Incomplete query. If you are working with an incomplete query, what are the steps that you are going to be following? What is the first step? Load the driver class. Next, get a connection to your database. Next, create a statement. Which statement? Prepared statement. Now we are going to be preparing your prepared statement. This is the query which I'll be writing it over here, which is a query. Now what I need to be doing? Using this connection, I need to be calling one method called as prepare statement. For this, what I need to be passing? Query I need to be passing, which is I'll be referring it as statement. Next step. It's an incomplete query or complete query? Incomplete query. Then what is the next step? Using setters, we need to set a value for this. Okay. What is the first question mark? DP. How can you set a value for that? Okay. But do you know how to set a value for your ID? How you can set? Set int. So let's set that value first now. Using this statement, I'll be calling a method called as set int. And this set int accepts two parameters. What are those two parameters? Placeholder as well as value. What is the placeholder for this? 2. And what is the value? Which will be given by the user, which I'll name it as scan dot next int. Okay. Now I need to set a value for your DP. An image I need to be giving a value for this. How can I do it if you ask me? Now the question is, which is the method I need to be calling, which setter I need to be calling. If you want to set a value for block kind of data, then you need to be calling a method called as set binary stream is a method which is available. Set binary stream is a method which will help you to set a value for your block kind of data. I hope it is clear. So over here I will be naming it as set binary stream. Again it accepts same two parameters. What is the first parameter? Placeholder. What is the placeholder? 1. Next one is a value. What is the value I need to be passing away? Is it an integer, string, floating point? What is that I need to pass? What is it? What kind of data we are storing inside your DP? One image you wanted to store it, right? So what I need to be passing over here? An image I need to be passing. How can I pass an image as a value over here? Now, whenever you want to pass an image as a value for this, there is one more thing which comes into picture. What is it if you ask me? Now, image is available inside one particular file, correct or not? Image will be available inside one file. Now I want this image to be given to your database. If you want to do that, first I need to have access for this particular image which will be stored inside your system. I want to access for this. If you want to get an access for this image, then you need to be making use of some concept called as file input stream is a concept I need to make use of. File input stream. These concept you will be getting in a file handling concept. I think whether you guys have gone through file handling or not. File handling. In LMS it is available. File reader, file writer. If not, please go through that. It is going to be beneficial in the interview. So today I am going to be going with the concept of file input stream. What exactly it will be doing is, over here from your Java file, this is your Java file. From this Java file, you will be connecting to your image using your file input stream. So there will be a stream using which I'll be extracting that particular image to your Java file. I hope it is clear for everybody. How can I extract? By making use of file input stream, if you ask me. First thing is you need to be creating an object of a file input stream. First thing, you need to be creating a object of file input stream. How normally you will create an object of this object of any class? New, and you will be saying the class name which is file input stream. And for this I need to be passing something. What is that I need to be passing? Path of the image I need to be passing. Over in where exactly this particular image is present, that path I need to be passing over here. So this path I need to be passing inside this particular image, path of the image. Whatever you give it, that is a reference, which is of type file input. Now this FIS is having this image access. It knows where exactly this image location is. So this FIS you need to be passing for this your binary input stream. If you pass this FIS contains the image which will be inserted to your database. I hope it is clear for everybody how exactly you can take a value and insert inside your data. Any doubts on this? Now tell me, is it a complete query or incomplete query now? It is a complete query. What is the next step? Execute update method, because you are working with the update statement, means update, insert and delete. You should be calling a method called as execute update. So what I am doing is using this statement, I will call one method called as execute update. Should I pass any parameter for this? No, it is empty. So this way you will be able to insert a record inside your database. I hope things are clear. Let's go and do this much and check whether you are able to insert a record inside your database. Clear for everybody? Let me take you back and do this. I am going to your editor. Before to that, do you want one image to be inserted inside your database? Correct. So let me just go to Google and get one image so that we can insert that image to your database. Can you just tell me which is the image you wanted to insert inside your database? Sorry? Any image you suggest? Suggesting is also difficult. Sorry? Huh? I am not able to hear you. Great. Okay. So what I'll be doing, instead of asking you guys, I'll go with Tap Academy's logo itself. I'll just try extracting it, okay, or else I'll extract this one. I'll download this. So I've downloaded this image, and if I just take you to the download section, that image is available over here right now. Okay, this is small, but whichever you want it, you can keep it inside. Now this is image available. I'll go to this your program. First what I'll be doing, I'll create one separate class itself. I'll create a class. I'll name it as program 8. Okay, let's go step by step. Obviously, if you want to do this, what is the first step? Load the driver class. That anyways automatically happen. What is the next step? What is that? Connection to your database. How? Driver manager dot get connection. Okay, so driver manager dot get connection. For this, what is the parameters I need to pass for? URL, username, password. I'll get it from previous itself, so I'll not rewrite it. Instead, I'll copy and paste it over here. So I'll pass URL. Next, I'll be passing username. Next one is password. I'll get the reference which I'll name it as con. So obviously, it is giving you exception. Let's handle it using try catch. Okay. What is the next step? Create a, first write a query which we need to pass for a statement. Okay. So I'll write a query string query. Again, I am telling you guys all these things standards. I am not repeatedly telling you. You guys need to be following. Like making a connection type, a reference should be of type static and private. String, it should be static. Final also. All those things convention you need to be following without fail. Okay. So query is update employee set dp equal to question mark where id is also question mark. Okay. This is the query. Next, con dot prepare statement. So I am just calling this by passing a query and I'll get the reference of type statement. Next, using statement, what I need to be calling? Set int. Yes. What is the first value I need to be passing over here? Placeholder. The next one is a value which I will be taking it from the user. For that I need to be creating object of your scanner class. So let me just create object of your scanner class, new scanner system.in. I'll name it as scan. Next, I want user to enter a ID value. So what I'll be doing, I'll ask user to enter ID value. So I'll just add one print statement. Enter the ID. So now I'll take that value from the user. So which I'll name it as scan.nextInt. Whatever user enters, I'll be storing it inside variable. Now over here, what I need to be passing? ID. Okay. Next, what I need to do? I need to be setting a value for your first placeholder, correct or not? So statement dot set binary stream. Now for this binary stream, what are the parameters I need to be passing? What is the first parameter? Okay. Next parameter? Object reference of file input stream. So first I need to create an object of file input stream. Let me just create an object of your file input stream. New file input stream. Inside this, what I need to be passing? Path of the image I need to be passing. Usually, one of the standard way to do this, if you ask me, all those images, whatever you used to work with, they will not be keeping in the download section or wherever it is. Instead, all those images, files which they want to insert to your database, they will be inserting inside your project itself. So that there will not be any miss of any of the images or any of the files will happen. Okay. So how exactly I can do this if you ask me? What I'll be doing, I'll go to this project structure. I'll just open this project. This is your project which is available. We have created previously lib. Why we have created this lib? External jar files, whatever is there, we can keep it inside this. Again, it was a standards which we have followed. Now, I wanted image to be available inside my project, because in this project I am using images to insert to your data. Then whatever the images is there inside this particular project only you need to keep. How exactly, if you ask me? Create one folder. Create one folder inside your project. You can create a folders inside you. Now the same thing I am doing over here. I'll just click on this particular project. Directly inside your project I am creating it. I'll say Control N and I'll search for folder. You can clearly see a folder option is available. I'll click on next. Over here I'll name it as IMG. One image folder I am creating. I'll click on finish. I have this IMG folder. Okay. Now inside this image folder I want that image to be available now. Inside this image folder I want that image to be available. How can I do it, if you ask me? I'll go over here. I'll copy this. I'm just copying this image. I'll go and paste this. I'm just pasting it. This is not mandatory to do it, but it's a standards which you need to follow. If you want copy the path of it and pass it, I am just copying path of this and pasting it over here. Clear for everybody? Now I need to get a path of this image so that the file input stream will connect to this particular image and get this particular image. How can I do it? How can I get the path of this, if you ask me? Just right click on this, go to the properties section. Right click in properties section. Here you can clearly see the complete path is available. Here a complete path of it is available. Just copy this path again. I have copied it. Now I will come back. Now for this particular file input stream, you need to be passing that particular path which you have copied. So what I will be doing, inside this double quote, I will pass this particular path and I will get the reference which I will name it as FIS. Any doubts till here? So here I have passed the path of this particular image where I have kept inside my project. If you want, go to the download section, copy the path and paste it over here. Any of your choice you can do it. Just following the standards, which is how you can. And here you can see the red line. Is it some syntax error why you are getting it? No, it is not because of syntax error. You can clearly see there is no syntaxical error is there. It is an exception which is giving me. What is the exception, if you ask me? Yes, if the file that you are trying to search for, if it doesn't exist, it is giving you exception. So initially only it is giving you warning because it's a checked or unchecked. Check the exception, that's why it is giving you. So handle it using try catch. So what I will be doing, I will handle it using a try catch. I hope it is clear for everyone. So now file not found exception has been handled. Now this FIS, where I need to be passing? For a value I need to be passing. I have passed as a value. What is the next step? Now the query becomes complete or incomplete still? Complete. What is the next step? Execute update. So using statement I need to be calling one method called as execute update. What is the return type of this execute update? Integer value, which I am getting it over here, which I will name it as. I will just print this value to just check whether insertion happened successfully or not. So I will just print this I value. If in case it was a successful insertion, what should be your I value? 1. Okay. Now let us execute. It is asking for ID value, which I will name it as 3. Okay. So whoever ID is 3, there the image should get inserted. And now if I wait to execute, what it is saying? 1. So it clearly indicates successfully an updation happened. Okay. Let me take you back to your database and show you whether insertion happened or not. Okay. So if I were to take you back to your database and re-execute your code, can you see a blue color symbol over here? Where everywhere it is null, but except here, and it's saying blob actually, because image has been inserted over here. How can I see that image is a question? Because you can just see the blob, you cannot see the images as of now, correct or not? So if you want to see the image what has been inserted over there means, just right click on this, open value in editor, one option you are seeing over here, right? You can just click on it. This is the image which has been stored and which we tried to insert. I hope it is. If the image size is larger, now you might be getting error because we have defined it as blob. Then you need to change it back to your long blob, which can store larger size of images. Any doubts in this particular blob kind of data, how to insert blob data? Like this PDF also you can insert. Open and show about it. Means open in editor, if you do it, you will be able to see the PDF. Any doubts, like a resume you want to store it, or if you want to store any images, like this way you can go ahead with this. I hope till here there is no confusions and everybody is clear with this. Clear? Okay. So everybody have made a note of this? Yes? Okay. So if this part is clear, this is about a blob kind of data that we have seen it. The next one is nothing but a clob. What do you mean by clob if you ask me? Clob is nothing but a character large object which you will be calling it as. Character large object which you will be calling it as. Okay. So for that you have a data type called as long text inside your database. What is the data type you have? It is long text, you have it. This is a data type that is being defined inside your SQL. Now, what is the use of this if you ask me? When you have to make use of this if you ask me, varchar is something which you have used it to read a string kind of data. But what is the size of it? Is there any fixed size of it? 256. There is a fixed size, after which you cannot read it inside your varchar. After which also there are data which you want to read it. Then you can make use of a long text. And other than that, for example, there is already a text file exists, and inside that text file there is already a data which is available. You want to read that data and store it inside that, and its value is greater than 255 text, means 255 is the text size of varchar, but it is more than that. So in that case you can make use of long text. When you have to make use, basically majorly it is used whenever a data exists inside your text file already and you want that data to be read and stored it inside your database. That is when the clob kind of data is useful. I hope it is clear for everybody. Now what I will be doing, I will create one more data type or one more column called as clob inside your database, where we will read a data from a text file and insert it inside your database through your jdbc. I hope it is clear. So let me take you back to your database and create one more column called as clob. Okay. So I'll go back and I'll just right click and make use of alter table itself, inside which I'll be naming it as one more column. I'll define it as intro. I'm defining a column as intro. Now data type I need to be defining, and data type I'll be saying it as long text. So let me just check where it is. Okay. I'll click on apply, finish, and now if I were to define, you can clearly see intro, one more column is been defined, and which data type we have defined it as long text. Now I want to insert a value inside this particular column. Wherever ID is specific ID, I want to insert a record. For example, I want to insert a record whoever ID is 1, or I want to insert a intro whoever ID is 4. This is my expectation. In this case, what is the query I need to be writing it? What is the query? Update. Update. Employee. Set intro equal to question mark, then where ID equal to question mark. One thing remember, if there is already a row exist and they asked you to change or insert one value, one new value, that's when you need to make use of update, because a row exists. If in case new row only you are inserting, the row only doesn't exist, then you have to make use of a insert query. Okay. So for the existing query, for existing record, if there is any new thing you are adding, it's a update query only you will make use of. Okay. So again, this is the complete query or incomplete query? Incomplete query. Whenever it's incomplete query, what do you need to do? What are the steps that you need to be following? You need to make use of a prepared statement. First step is your loading of a driver class. Next step is your establishing connection to your database. The third step is creating a statement. As it is an incomplete query, you will make use of a prepared statement. So using this connection, you will be calling a method called as prepare statement. For that, what I need to be passing? Query I need to be passing. I will give a reference as statement I will be giving it. What is the next step? Set the values. Now, what is the first question mark? Intro. And what is the data type of it? Long text, means which is a clob kind of data that we have defined it over here. Whenever you are working with clob kind of data, if you want to insert a value for this, then you need to make use of set character stream. I need to make use of. What is that? Set character stream I need to be calling it. So using this statement, I need to be calling a method called as set character stream. Again, it accepts two parameters. What is the first parameter? Placeholder. What is the placeholder over here? 1. What is the second parameter? What is my expectation? What I told you? You want to read a data present inside a file and insert inside your database. Means a file already exists, and there is a data inside this particular file. A text file already exists and there is a data inside this particular file. Now what you want? You want to read the data present inside this particular file. Correct or no? You want to read the data present inside. So previously we have seen where you wanted whole file to be extracting. Correct or no? That is when what you have made use of? You wanted file input stream you have made use of, because you wanted whole file to be coming in. Now, do you want whole file to be extracting? No. Instead, what you want? A data present inside your file to be extracted and given to you or inserted inside your database. Now, if you want to extract the data, you need to go to this particular file and read the data present inside this particular file. How can you do it if you ask me? For that, you need to make use of a class called as file. A reader is a class available. You need to make use of a file reader. So what you need to do? Create a object of a file reader class. You need to be creating object of a file reader class. New, and I will be saying it as file reader. And for this file reader class, I need to be passing a path of this particular text file. I need to be passing a path of this particular text file. I am just passing a path. If you pass it, what will happen? It will go to this particular file, read all the data present inside this file and extract only the data, not a file. Till here I hope it is clear. If it was you want to read a file, then you should make use of file input stream itself. Okay. So it will read the file and I will give a reference as fr. And this fr, a data present inside the file, I want to insert inside your database. That is the reason this fr as a parameter I need to be passing for this. Fr as a parameter I need to be passing. Any doubts still here? Clear for everybody? This is how you can insert a data inside your database, which is of type clob. Clear? So next, still it is complete or incomplete query? Incomplete query. Again what I need to do? Statement dot set int. What is the parameter I need to pass? to scan dot next int I need to be passing it. Okay, now it becomes complete query. What is the next step? Execute update method. I need to call a method called as execute update. And if you do this much, what will happen? It will go to your database, execute or insert this particular data present inside the file inside your database. I hope it is clear for everybody. So let's go to the JDBC, let's go to our program and try inserting a data present inside a file to your database. Okay. So for that, let me take you back. Now before I write up the query, what I want one text file or one particular file should be available, inside that one data should be available. So what I am going to do is, I will create one file now, and inside that certain text I will be writing it, so that that particular data present inside the text file to be inserted. What I will be doing, I will create a file inside one folder of this particular project itself. I will create a file inside this particular. If you want any particular file inside your system also, you can read it and insert it. But as of now, I am creating this particular file inside your project itself. So I have created one image folder previously, right? Inside that only I will be creating one file. Okay. I will say it as control N. I will say it as one text file I wanted to create. So untitled text file is there. I will click on finish. So what I am going to be doing is, I will just say it as, this is a JDBC section I will be saying. Just one message I wanted. Okay, I will save, control S, I will do it. So it will ask me to save. I will go and ask to store inside your image folder, and I will name this particular file as intro.text. I will click on finish. You can clearly see a file is being created with the name intro.text. Any doubts in this particular part? Clear for everybody? Okay. Let me go to the program. So, any changes in this driver manager.get connection? No. Okay. Any changes in this query? Set? It's not DP. Instead, what I need to be saying it as? Intro. I'll be saying it as intro. Okay, any changes in this particular part, prepared statement? No. So, any changes in this input ID value? No. What about this one? File reader. So, what I will be doing is, I will delete this. Now, I will create an object of file reader. So, new, I will say it as file reader. What is that I need to be passing for this? What is that I need to pass? Path. I will get this particular path. I will right click, I will go to the properties, I will get this path and I will pass this particular path. I will get the reference, which I will name it as FIR. So, any changes in this line? Set int. For the second placeholder, we are passing ID as a value. Any changes? No. Next, set character string. So, what I will be doing is, I will call a method called as get set character string. Placeholder 1 and a value is FIR, correct? Yes. So, next, execute update. Is it same or any changes? Same. Okay. Now, if I wait to execute and if it was inserted successfully, what should be your I value? 1. Let's execute now and check whether it's 1 or not. ID value I need to say, I will give it as 7. Okay. And now if I wait to execute, what did I say? 1. It clearly indicates successfully a insertion happened. So, let me take you back to the database and check whether really a data is getting inserted or not. Okay. For that, I will go to the database. As of now, empty. I will execute, and now you can clearly see this is a JDBC session. Means data that you have read from the file also is being inserted inside your database. Any doubts in this particular part? So, I hope it is clear about how to make use of a glob as well as a blob, and when you have to make use of also, I hope it is clear. Whenever you want to read images or PDF, anything you want to insert inside your database, make use of blob. If in case any data you want to read from any particular text file and you want that data to be inserted inside your database means, then you have to make use of clob. Clear? No doubts in this particular part? And that is it all about your JDBC. So, JDBC is all about performing CRUD operation, because database means what you will be doing? You will perform a CRUD operation. I hope now you got to know how to perform CRUD operation by taking input from the user also you know, and by hard coding also you know about it. So, we have written simple queries, but whichever the queries you want to write it, you can write it over there. Any doubts in this particular JDBC? Clear for everybody? Okay. So, let's quickly recap whatever we have learnt in the JDBC, okay, so that in the next class we will be moving on with a new concept which is JEE, okay. So, today we will just quickly recap of whatever we have done inside your JDBC, which I am not going to, you need to help me out with recapping or from starting whatever we have done it, okay. So, let me take you back. Okay, what is that first thing you have learnt? What is it? Steps to work with a JDBC. Whenever you are working with a JDBC, what is the first step you have done? First step is a load the driver class. If you want to load the driver class, what is that you need to be doing? What is that you have to do? What is the line you have to write it? Load the driver class, you have made use of driver method. Class dot, yes, class dot I need to be calling a for name method. Inside this what I need to be passing? Path of your driver class. Where, what is the path? com.mysql.cj.jdbc. That is the path you need to be passing so that driver class will get loaded. And nowadays it is not necessary for you to write it. Automatically a driver class is getting loaded. Okay. Next step. Establishing connection to your database. Establishing connection to your database. If you want to establish a connection to the database, how you have done it? Yes, driver manager dot get connection. For this, what all you have passed it? What all the parameters you have passed for this? URL, username, password. Password and username is about your MySQL database password and username. Okay. URL, how it looks like? API. Next it is a vendor. Next it is, one second, API, vendor, and next it is IP address, okay, port number, next it is DB name. Colon, and this one is mismatched. API is nothing but your JDBC. Vendor is MySQL. Okay. IP address is IP address in which your MySQL present. Okay. In our case, it's in our system itself. That's why we have referred it as localhost. Port number of, yes, port number of your MySQL itself. Next year, which database you are working with, the database name you need to be passing. Okay. Next. Create a statement. Inside this, which are the statements you have come across? Create statement, prepare statement, prepare call. Three statements you have come across. One is, I am just writing it over here, create statement. Next one is prepare statement. Next one is prepare call. And return type of create statement is statement, and which is an interface available. Prepared statement return type is prepared statement itself. Prepare call return type is callable statement, and all these three are interfaces available. I hope it is clear for you. When you have made use of a create statement, what all are the things that you have come across inside your create statement? Create statement, when you will make use of? Yes, when you have a complete query, that is when you will make use of it. So, when you have a complete query. When you will make use of prepared statement? It's a incomplete query. When you make use of prepare call? Stored procedure. Okay. So, when you are working with a create statement, what are the steps that you will follow? First, you will create a, you will call a method called as create statement. What is the next step? You will be writing your query. So, next step you will be having is your query, you will be writing it. Next, execute query. For this, any parameter I need to pass? Yes. What is that I need to be passing? Query. I need to be passing query for this. Now, when you are working with create statement, have you come across with only execute query method? No. Then which are the execute update methods also you have seen. We have come across with execute update. And for this, any parameters? Any parameters? Query you need to be passing. When you are working with create statement, it is mandatory that you are passing up the queries. I hope it is clear. This is all about your create statement. Any other statement you over here? What is the return type of execute update? Integer. So, over here the return type is integer. And what is the return type of your execute query? It is result set. Let me just write it. It is result set. Okay. So, now when you are working with a result set, what are the methods that you have come across? How you will be doing that? First, you are going to be moving a cursor. How you can move the cursor? Has next term. Next, don't go with a collection, over here only next. So, using this result set, I need to be calling a method called as next, which will help me to move the cursor, as well as it returns you true or false, means a boolean value it will be returning you. So, I am just writing it over here as a boolean. If any rows exist, it will return you true. If there is no row exist, it will return you false. Next, inside this, what all are the methods you have seen? Get int, get string, getters you have seen across, right? Get and the data types you will be defining. So, I will just write it over here, get, and there is a return type, data types available. I have just left it as a blank. Okay. Now, for this you used to pass a parameter. What are the parameters you have passed? Either you pass a column name or a indexes, you can pass it over here. So, either you pass column name or a column index, I will be naming it as. These are the getters using which you can process the result. Now, is this result set whatever we have created, is it a movable cursor? It is a movable cursor, means if I gone till the end, can I take it back to your first? No, it is a non-movable cursor. If you want to make it as a movable cursor, what I need to be doing? Type scroll sensitive I need to be defining. Where I need to be defining? When you are creating a statement itself, I need to be passing a parameter, and the parameter only is I need to be saying it as result set dot type scroll sensitive. If you do find this, then what happens? Your result set is a scrollable now. You can move to the first, you can move to any of the records using your first method as well as absolute method. I hope it is clear. This is about you when you are working with your create statement. When you are working with a prepared statement, what are the things comes into picture? What is the next step? When you are creating or calling your prepared statement itself, you will be passing your query. This is the first step. Next. Sorry? You need to make use of a setters to set a values. Which all are the setters? Set and the data types you will be defining. Over here, what are the parameters it will accept? 2 parameters. What is the first parameter? First parameter is placeholder. What is the second parameter? Value. Like this set int, set string, all these have, like this we have seen 2 more methods over here today. Set binary stream, set character stream. For blob kind of data, set binary stream. For clob kind of data, it is set character stream, using which you can set a values. Next, you made incomplete query to a complete query using a setters. What is the next step? Execute update. I will be calling a method called as execute update. Should I pass any parameter for this? What is the return type of this? Integer only is the return type. So I am just writing it over here. Execute update, and it is a return type. Okay. No parameters. Any other methods? Execute query method? It is not there. Here also it is there. What if you are reading all the data where ID equal to, or only specific department details you want to do it? That specific department also you can take it from a user, correct or no? So over here you can write a select queries also, and whenever you are working with a select query, you cannot make use of execute update, you have to make use of a execute query. So over here you have a execute query method. I hope it is clear for everybody. And obviously it will return you of type what it is? Result set. Okay. So this is about your prepared statement. Next, when you are working with a prepare call, what are you will be doing? What else when you are working with a prepare call? That's nothing but store procedure. First you will be creating a prepare call, means calling a method called as prepare call, and inside this itself what you will be doing? You will be passing a parameter. What is that? Call and a name of the procedures you will be doing, and the parameters you will be passing. How many ever parameter it will accept, that many question marks you will be having. This is our first step you will be doing. What is the next step? You need to set the values for this. What is that I need to do to set the values? Set. Again, if in case you want to set a value, set int, set string, all these data types using which you can set a values. Using it accepts 2 parameters. One is placeholder, one more is value. This is about you setting a value for an input parameter. If you are setting a value for an output parameter, yes, it is register out parameter I need to be calling it. Again it accepts 2 parameters. One is placeholder, one more is, yes, it should be a data type which I need to be defining. How can I define it? Types dot, and I need to be defining a data type over here. Wherever data type, I am just putting it a blank. Okay. So this is about you setting a value for your input as well as output. Next, execute. Which method I need to call? Execute method only I need to be calling. I'll just call this execute update, execute method. Next, I need to make use of a getters to get a value. Okay. So get, and what I need to be saying? A data type I need to be saying, and over here I need to be passing a placeholder. I hope it is clear for everybody. Get int, get string, get all these particular data types I need to be doing. If it was single value, this is how you can do. If it was a table kind of data which is this return, then what I need to be doing? Get result list you need to be calling it as. Okay. So I need to be saying it as get result list, using which you can extract that particular table and process this particular result. I hope it is clear for everyone. This is about your prepare call when you are working with. Next, what else you have learned? This much only? Before to that? There is something called as metadata you have learnt. When you have to make use of a metadata? Yes, whenever you want to extract the information of anything, that's when you have to make use of a metadata. Either you can give it for a connection to your database, using which you can extract the information, or for your result set, using which you can extract the information. That's when you have to make use of meta. Means the number of columns you don't know, data types of the columns you don't know, all these ways you can make use of a metadata. So for this, the first method you will be making use of is get metadata is a method which is a. Next, which are the methods? Get column count, get column name, get column type name, like this n number of data types are available. Based on a use case you will be calling, so that you can access the table, or you will get to know how many number of columns are there in each particular table. I hope it is clear. This is about a metadata. Metadata, right now what we have written, it is applied for a result set. If you want, you can apply for your connection and then get to know the information about which particular database you are working with, what is the version of this particular database, all those information also you can get. This is about a metadata. Next, what else you have learned? Yes, the next one is batch file. What is the use of this batch file? If you, whenever you want to execute n number of queries, and if in case you want to execute all these queries, in normal approaches you will go to your database and execute. So if in case n number of queries are there, n number of times you are hitting your database now. Now to make it an efficient, that is when you make use of a batch file, where you will execute n queries but going to your database only one time. So if you want to do that, what is that approach if you ask me? So whatever the queries that you have, all those queries, this is your batch file that you have it. All those queries you have to put inside your batch file. How you can put inside your batch file? Using a method. Add batch is a method available. Will it accept parameter or not parameter? Yes, based on a statement it will accept a parameter or it will not accept. If you are working with your create statement, will it accept the parameter? It will accept a parameter. If in case it was working with a prepared statement, what happens? It will not work with, it will not take a parameter. So over here it will not take a parameter. but when you are working with a create statement, it will be taking a parameter, by using which you will put all the queries to your batch file, after which execute batch. So this batch file will get executed using a method called as execute batch. Okay, this is about your batch file. Next, anything else? Next, an acid properties which we have learnt. And inside this, what else we have learnt? Atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. So to achieve this, there are few methods which we have made use of. What are those methods? Yes. First of all, whenever you have written any query, it should not directly reflect to your database. That's when what we have done it. Auto commit, we have made it as false. By default it will be true. So whatever the queries you have executed, it will be permanently reflected inside your database. The first step is set auto commit to false. Next, what else the methods you have learned? One more method is commit and one more is rollback. Commit is something which if you want to make a changes to your changes to your database, means you are agreed to do that, then you have to call a method called as commit. If you don't want the changes to be permanently available inside your database, then you have to make use of rollback. If you make use of this, then you will make use achieve acid properties. Okay, this is about it. Next. The last one is stored procedures, which we have learnt it. So, and regarding the store procedure, we have already discussed over here itself. In the callable statement itself we have discussed. Then what we have discussed today, it is nothing but blob and clob. Blob and clob also we have discussed, it's all about the setters which we have it. So, this is all about your jdbc which we have learnt. And you can clearly see it is very less, just the 2 pages if you remember. But if you don't recall, then it's going to be difficult. Why I have listed all these means, if you just write it in one sheet of paper, it is not necessary for you to watch all the videos. If you just recap of one page, it's more than enough for you. Because if you have to sit and watch 5 videos or whole book you want to read it, then it is going to be difficult and you will never revise about it. If you just have one sheet of paper, then it is going to be easy for you. And moving ahead in advanced concept, all these concepts, a quick recap will be available like this, will list out. You going back and list like this, so that you are revising and it is adding on to your skills whatever you are going to be learning. Okay, and then when you are doing a project, it is not going to be difficult for you. If you don't know the concept, that's when it is going to be difficult. I hope it is clear for everybody. So starting from tomorrow, we are going to be starting off with JEE. Okay, so where now we are just in JDBC dealing with database. Now front end also comes into picture. How exactly front end also we can interact with, that is something which we are going to be learning in JEE. Okay, so make sure every day on the same day go back and practice. If you don't, that is when it will be like sometimes exception occurs. You will not be able to fix it, because after a long time you are able to do that. Okay, on the same day if you do it, you will be able to fix it. Okay, so that's it for today. You guys can leave for the day. Tomorrow we are going to be continuing, and I hope everybody have this version, like when you check the perspective in your Eclipse, it is JEE option is available, because from tomorrow onwards we wanted to work, we have to work with that perspective. If you don't have, make sure change your Eclipse workspace so that it will be easy. Okay, yes. So that's it for today.